Welcome everybody to another Sunday Goal Achievement Mastery Mastermind. I'm Mike DeLuca. I will be your host tonight. Very excited that you are here with us. We have a really interesting topic that we are going to discuss. So I am going to kind of jump right into introducing it. You know, I spend quite a bit of time thinking about what should I be sharing each time we do a live mastermind, which we go live every first and third Sunday, 2 Sundays a month live, and 2 Sundays a month I do it video recorded. So thinking about what are we going to cover tonight, and I was in a workshop this week. I invest heavily in my personal education. I invest in attending workshops and seminars. I get coached so that I can be a better coach and I can provide better services for people. And so I attended this session this week, and it was really very powerful. And they were focusing on, you know, when you own your own business or wherever you are in your life, there are many tasks to be done. And when we want to make progress, there are many tasks that need to be done in order to move forward step by step, day by day, to make the progress. So this particular workshop was talking about the concept that oftentimes when certain things are not getting done, and we look at them and we can justify all the different reasons that they're not getting done, or we're not getting around to doing it, or why we're not doing it. It really connects back to the way that our brain works, and especially, that reptilian brain, that the most ancient brain that we have. You know, it's the part of the brain that is in charge of fight, flight, or freeze. And sometimes when we have tasks that we are responsible for doing, we may make a decision that, I'm not doing this. Here's the reason why. I have a great justification for not doing it today. I'm going to put it off today. And here's the reason why. I don't have the time. I'm not really good at that part of doing things. I might need to get some help. If I do it, it's not going to be perfect. There's many reasons. And oftentimes those reasons, they're more a way for our brain to come up with something that will shield us from the real reason, the real fear, or the real pain that part of the brain is in charge of avoiding. Because remember, that reptilian brain is always looking at, what is a danger to me? What's going to make me feel bad? What's going to hurt me? What's going to kill me? What's going to eat me, right? So it will oftentimes filter things and create all kinds of really wonderful and respectful justifications to not do it. And it makes us feel good that, oh yeah, that's a good reason to not do it today. I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow's the next day, et cetera, et cetera. So this really struck home for me, because just like anybody else, there are many things on my things to do list, many things on my plate. And I look at them and I say, well, this isn't a good time to do it because blah, blah, blah. When I know I need to be doing that, and I need to be doing it every day in order to make my business grow, in order to help my clients better, and in order to develop me as a more professional, more accomplished, business person. And it's not just about business. It can be about your health, right? We've all seen, situations where we know we're supposed to do certain things for our health, right? We know we're supposed to get, at least 8 glasses of water a day. We know we're supposed to do what our doctors tell us to do. I'm supposed to give the exercise today, right? Oh, but you know what? I'm tired, or I have these things to do. When I get these things done, then I'll go. And then by the time I get them done, the gym is closed. Oh, I can't go. The gym is closed, right? So do you see how this starts adding up? And before long, we are building a habit, a habitual habit of not doing things to avoid certain experiences that are uncomfortable for us. But oftentimes the, the fear is really unfounded, right? It's something that in our head, we've blown up more and more out of proportion than really what it really is. So I want to give you an example. And I suffer from this just like everybody else, right? That's why I'm a good coach, because I've experienced all of the challenges that the people I work with experience on a daily basis. So I know exactly what they're talking about. So let me share my screen for a minute. I drew up a little spreadsheet, and you might want to copy this for yourself. And you can obviously make it look however you want to look. But what I came up with is these columns, right? So I came up with this first column on the left, the task that is not being completed. Column number B, the reason we say why we are not completing it versus the actual reason what we are really avoiding by not completing it, and why are we avoiding that? And then finally, what do we need to do to change our thoughts, our attitudes, our behaviors, or the way we are doing or not doing it? What do we need to gain? It might be skills, information, talent, training, help. Or what can we delegate, right? What could I delegate that will help me get this task done, right? So I'm going to share with you, I'm going to be real honest with you, and I hope as you are filling out this kind of chart for yourself, you're real honest for yourself, because you can only really help yourself if you're honest with yourself. And so I'm gonna just throw this right out there. I am someone very involved in marketing and PR and social media. I do a lot of work with clients about their social media. But here's a task for me that I don't have consistent every day posting something on social media. I have taken steps to deal with that, and I'll talk about that over here in the green zone here. But I'm going to be real honest with you. I've been avoiding it. I've been avoiding do some of the things that I've been taught I need to do, and I avoid some of the things that you see people who are very active on social media doing. Right? They're doing the selfie videos, and they're taking you on their walks and their jogs. They're taking you in their cars with their family, and they're taking you all kinds of places, and they're talking to you while they're doing stuff because it catches your attention, right? They're zooming around doing this and that. So I've been avoiding doing that stuff. I do post quite a bit on social media. I like to think that the things that I post give value to people, whether they are quotes or whether they are suggestions or whether I'm sharing different parts and pieces of my programs and videos. I'm comfortable doing that, but I need to be more consistent. So the reason I'm telling myself why I've not been completing it every day, right? And you're going to know these reasons, right? They're going to sound familiar. Oh, I don't have the time today, right? And yeah, you know what? Nobody really cares. Nobody really reads my posts. Nobody really pays attention to that stuff, right? Or, hey, I've been doing this for 2 years, and it really doesn't help me sell anything, putting those posts up, right? I can't really correlate it directly to say, that's a very intellectual rationalization of today. I'm not going to do it because it's really not doing anything, right? Or I can say, oh, you know what? Other people's posts that, they've got really great, beautiful graphics in them, and they swim, and the quotes come in and out. And I don't know how to do that, or I don't have the time to do that. I'm going to need to learn to do that. So I'm going to wait till I know how to do all of these things really perfectly, and then I'll post, right? You see where I'm getting at with this? So now I'm going to move over and be real honest about what am I really avoiding by not doing the things over here. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's a fear of looking stupid, right? It's a fear of being judged. I have this fear of when I'm not in my comfort zone, when I'm doing things on video or doing things on social media, right? And I'm, sharing things for, in my mind, I'm doing it because it's important to do. It's important to be out there in front of people and sharing your wisdom and all of that stuff. But probably embarrassed about doing it. And I'm probably not completely feeling congruent between what I know I have to do or what I see other people doing and what really feels right for me, right? What really portrays me in the in the vein that is really me, right? So that's what I'm really avoiding. I'm really avoiding being judged. I'm really avoiding looking stupid or, if I had to draw something freehand, the whole world would be in stick figures, right? But I'm getting pretty good with graphic programs like Canva, and some of the, Photoshop and some of these things. Little by little, I'm developing my skills because I really want to do the best job possible to help my clients and to help the people who are out there who are looking at what I'm posting and looking at what I'm sharing and maybe attending some of my events or some of my courses. So that's why over here in the green, again, I really had to look at this and be honest and say, what do I really, really need to do? Right? What do I need to change? What do I need to gain? What do I need to delegate in order to overcome this? Right? So me not doing the posting every day was not because it was technically impossible, right? Because I know how to do it and I've done it, right? It's not because my equipment won't do it. No, I have all of the technology and knowledge and ability to find out how to do it. It's not a true, honest reason here, right? This is not true and honest. This is what's true and honest, right? This I can overcome. How? By changing my attitude, right? I change my attitude. So instead of being afraid of looking dumb or being embarrassed or not wanting to do it until I'm perfect at doing it, right? Instead of making these excuses, what I really need to do is change my attitude. And so I plan on doing that. I'm going to work on that. And, you can hold me accountable. You can check my Facebook posts and see, am I increasing even a little bit each week? I'm gonna work at doing that, right? And I'm gonna change my attitude because if I change my why, if I change the reason I'm doing it, right? If I change the reason I'm doing it from, oh, someone told me I have to do it every day in order to reach the people I need to reach for my business, right? So this is something I have to do. So yeah, I'll do it. But anytime I can find an excuse not to do it, I'm not going to do it. No, I have to change that. Yeah, I'm doing it because I was told that's what I'm supposed to do. I really don't like doing it, but change your attitude, right? I'm changing my attitude this week to I'm going to do it out of love and service for even that one person who reads it, and sometimes when you're out there posting, it's crickets. There's nobody looking at what you're doing. There's nobody reading it. There's nobody liking it. There's nobody putting stars and thumbs up and smiley faces and all that. Sometimes it's crickets, but that's okay. All right. It's okay because I made the effort to do my best in that moment out of love and service. And maybe a day from now, 2 days from now, a week from now, somebody's going to come upon that post and they're going to say, wow, you know what? He said what was in my heart. He said what was on my mind, right? He shared something that was pretty, scary and pretty raw. Kudos to you, Mike, for sharing things that you're embarrassed to share. Well, I'm going to change my attitude, and I'm going to do it out of love and service this week. And I'm going to stop worrying about being judged, right? Because I found out over the years, and I've been involved with this stuff for over 45 years, right? And I've found in that time, the number of people who I think are actually looking at what I think, say, and do or post, the number of people who I think are really looking at that and judging it is actually very, very small. Because most of the time, people are so busy with their own things, their own responsibilities and jobs and challenges and work and all of those things, they don't have time to look at what I do and judge it, right? And that's okay. So I'm changing my attitude, and I'm changing the excuses I'm making to avoid doing something that I've been prejudging. And I'm going to stop judging it. And I'm just going to do it each day. I'm going to focus that day and say, okay, I'm going to do it this way today. This is what I have to say. This is what I have to post. This is what video clip I might have. And it's okay. It will not win any Emmys, Academy Awards for cinematography, Golden Globes. It's not going to win any of that. But it's my heart speaking through it that's important. And that's what I'm going to focus on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Can anybody relate to that?
Yeah.
Any comments? Anyone like to share some of the things they've, Janine, yeah, please share some of the things that you've come across.
I'm working on a very big art project, and I'm taking a course in aesthetics. And, we have an artist roundtable once a week, and we talk about things. And recently it's come up about this whole thing of selling art as NFTs online. They're not, it's a whole other universe from how I've grown up in my art career with art shows and selling physical products. But one of the things that came up in our discussions was you have to brand yourself. And I was, of course, in a quandary. What does that mean? Am I Kellogg's Special K, or am I an SOS pad? What? But it's really basically, what is our authentic expression, and what are we sharing that's in alignment with that? So it's not about a snazzy, jazzy name or, lots of fancy graphics. I mean, somebody was just talking last week about posting your art and having it move. So I said, what do I do with my nudes? So it's just that kind of, it's a whole other way with the social media. But I think the authenticity and really just, saying, who am I and what do I want people to know about me? So it's not about coming up with some, glitzy hook. It's about being, and so, I'm facing that same challenge too. Who am I? What do I want to share? What do I want people to know about? And how can they connect to that?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was so helpful. So to the point, and connected to what we're talking about, Janine. And once you do that, once you get yourself out there, and you collaborate, in my program, I always talk about concentration, creativity, and collaboration. And I actually have a client who's also an artist. And I worked with her to actually shift her focus on how she was planning to deal with her art. Originally, she was thinking, like, many of us, I'm going to get my art out there on the internet, and I'm going to sell paintings, and I'm going to sell But by working with her and her own incredible creativity, and she's a great, workshop facilitator, a great teacher, she's a great coach, we realized that she had so much more potential to use her art to uplift people and to help people make changes in their lives. And so now she's on a whole new adventure, and she's going to be using social media in a whole different way than just putting her, paintings out there. Now she's providing an experience of evolution and unfoldment and learning. And that's where that concentration, creativity, and then collaborating with people to find new and unique ways. So I love that you have that group, that support group, that circle. It's really important that we collaborate with others to take advantage of all of that knowledge, experience, wisdom, and connections, right? And that's why social media can be an incredibly valuable tool to do that. And I use it, and I'm working to use it more and use it more effectively, and get out of my way, get out of my own way. I'm really good at getting in my own way, but I'm really good at getting out of it when my why is really strong. I'm connected to it, and I get back to what's my reason for doing this? Is it to impress people? No. Is it to depress people? No. It's to connect with people and hopefully share something of value and inspire them. Samarit, would you like to share something?
Yes, Mike, thank you. I want to share something that happened while I was listening to you.
Yay.
So I'm already kind of like, oh, social media, really? I don't want to talk about this today.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening, and I'm listening because the impulse to show up for every mastermind is so clear. So there's a part of me that's saying, I don't want to talk about social media. There's another part of me that says, well, the part of you that takes you to these places knew that it was about social media, and still you felt compelled to show up. So let's learn from this. So at any rate, when you said the reason I'm not doing it is because it doesn't feel congruent. It's like, it's not me. I mean, the things that I'm trying to do, it's just not me. I said, that's it. That's exactly why and when something doesn't feel congruent, should I go against that? Or is it like refining my position? And then as I was writing the notes, like I hear something and I say, oh, I need to write this down. So as I was writing, and you were, I don't know what you were saying, but it had this form. It's by something that I get something else. And this is what I wrote, and it didn't come from me, it came through me. It's by taking daily action when I don't feel congruent, that little by little, I become congruent, and the things I do shift so that they are congruent with who I am. So that blew me away in terms of changing my attitude.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. And, thank you for always inspiring me, with how you look at things and face things head on, and ask, what's the authenticity involved in this? That's something Janine brought up and you brought up. And I want to give another example. Last week, I was contacted by someone to be a guest lecturer in their class. And this person is an incredible musician, teacher of life, teacher of music, and it's someone I have incredible respect for. And he asked me to come and be a guest lecturer in his advanced course for musicians. And, with COVID and starting a business, I really haven't been putting attention on my guitar playing, and my music like I used to. And, and he asked me, it was, oh, wow. Do I want to accept this? Because, I feel kind of like a phony here, because I really haven't been practicing and putting my attention on my music, because I'm trying to develop my ability to coach and help people. And I have 4 courses I'm developing right now, putting up videos, and I have assistants and virtual assistants I'm working with, and I have clients that I'm, doing promotions for. But I stopped and thought about it, and I realized he's not asking me to come on to talk about my musicianship. He's asking me to come and talk from my heart about how the music moves me and how I move through life in a musical fashion, right? And so, I was really anxious about coming on with this person who, he's known all over the world. People love him. But I said, yeah, I'll do it. Right. And then I looked at, what? You said yes? And I only had 4 hours to prepare. Right. Are you crazy? You said yes. But I said, no, from now on, when somebody asks me to do something and I know in my heart I can be of service and value, but I'm just scared, or I don't feel, I feel like an imposter. As soon as they ask me to do something, they're asking me because they already feel that I can contribute something. So as a result, I said yes, right? And I'm going to do that as much as possible in my life. I'm going to say yes, and I'll figure out how to get it done. But it was interesting when it came time for me to open up, to talk to all of these students who are all really talented and studious musicians. I remembered an experience I had where I was very fortunate to be present at the passing of one of the world's greatest jazz drummers, Mr. Ed Blackwell, who was the husband of a dear friend of mine, Fran Blackwell. And I was given the incredible honor of being there in the hospital room when he was breathing his last breath in this lifetime, and then went to the memorial service following later on. And I heard a story by one of his students that just struck me to the core. And he said, the first time I showed up in Ed's class, and it was the first time I was going to be taught by this legend, somebody who had, played with John Coltrane and Don Cherry and all of these jazz, greats, immortals. I'm just thinking, wow, what is he going to show me, right? Is he going to show me some really cool pattern, right? Or is he going to, give me some secret sauce, behind the music? And he said, and what he did was he walked up to the drum set, he took his stick, he looked me deep in the eyes, right into my soul. And he took the stick and he went like this. And he looked at me and he said, every time the stick hits the skin, it is the most sacred of moments. That is when spirit, mind, heart, body, emotion, everything aligns and comes together and comes through. And the stick hitting the skin becomes a sacred vehicle for a door opening up for something incredible. Every time the stick hits the skin. And so I looked at these guitarists and I said, every time your pick hits the string, if you are aligned from your very highest self to the deepest part of your mind, your emotions, your memory, your physical body, your passion, your joy, when your pick hits the string, it's a sacred moment. And the sound that comes through in that sacred moment is unlike any sound you've ever made with that guitar. It's unlike any song you've ever played, because the notes have become imbued with this sacred energy, because you are aligned and your why is coming from a higher place. And the guitar becomes an extension of your body, emotions, mind, and spirit. I went on to say other things, but I could have begun and ended just with that story that just was so vivid in my mind and in my heart. And the rest of the stuff we talked about, I talked about what Carlos Santana talked about. I watched a workshop of his, and he talked about when there's this alignment, right? You bring light into darkness when you play those notes aligned, and what comes through you is so pure, right? And I talked about, as a blues musician, there's so much care spent as a blues musician in the space between the notes as there are the notes. And that space is filled with feeling, emotion, and, passion and love and spirit, right? So I talked about this stuff, and, I'm not a professor of music, and, I haven't really been rehearsing and practicing the way I should. But what came through me, because I was willing to say yes and stop listening to the voice saying, oh, you don't want to do that. You're going to make a fool out of yourself. These people are so much better musicians than you are. They know so much more than you do. That wasn't the point. The point is, in any moment, you are called to do something, because not of what's here or what's in your wallet, right? It's because of what's in here. That's why you're asked to do something that you're uncomfortable doing. And I've found the road to progress, the road to unfoldment, the road to success, the road to enlightenment itself comes from doing the things that we are uncomfortable doing. When I was training in ninjutsu with really incredible teachers, I was the worst one in the dojo. I was one of the oldest, least coordinated, but I showed up and I tried and I gave it my all. But at the beginning of every class, there was an ancient ritual. And the words we would recite were Shakin Harimitsutai Komyo. And what that says is, in this moment, I may find the very key to enlightenment that I seek. And this is something they used to say when they were running into battle, knowing they very well could die in any moment. They very well could be injured to a point of excruciating and terrible pain, right? Yet they had developed the training and the wisdom to say, I know that by moving into this situation that's uncomfortable, but I have surrendered and dedicated myself to doing it. I know that in doing what is uncomfortable, what could be painful, what is definitely going to be scary, by doing it, I will find more keys to the enlightenment that I seek. And that's why I'm going to go forward, and I'm not going to go the other way. Now, this stuff that I'm embarrassed to do or afraid to do, it's not going to kill me, right? But my brain says, no, but it's going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to feel stupid, or you're going to feel judged, or you're going to feel embarrassed. And I don't want to feel that. You don't want to feel that. And so what? My reason, my why for doing those things that are uncomfortable and that I might feel uncomfortable doing, my why is stronger than my fear. My desire to grow and serve must be stronger than my desire to run away, because it's not perfect. I'm not skilled enough, smart enough, handsome enough, good enough with my selfies and my videos, and right? My why is strong enough. I came here to serve, right? I'm here today to serve you. Here today to serve whoever's watching and listening, right? That's my why, and that's why I'm here. Jocelyn, would you like to add something or subtract something or divide something or multiply something? Whatever it is you want to do, go ahead.
A little bit of all of that, I guess.
Yeah.
I think what you're talking about is mastery somehow, mastering your life and not letting emotions decide for you what is supposed to be done. I like what Simrat said earlier on, when something just was passing through her, and she referred to taking action, and that taking action would work out probably the incongruence just by the taking the action, if I understood well. And you referred to something of a Japanese approach as something, and you know, I've been training Japanese for many, many, many years. So as you're talking about that, I know something also is that not only fear will take you away from what you want to go to, but the mind is tricked. It can be doesn't like change and doesn't like risk. So
Yes.
so it will use all kinds of things, and not just fear. It will use distraction. For example, I'm just going to go and look at that show instead, and then I'll get back to that after, and that's it. The night is over, and you lost the time. If you think of just a 1 hour a day of TV, at the end of the week, you have 7 hours. You have a day that you lost, and that you didn't dedicate to your project. So distraction, procrastination, I would say doubt. You know, when I know more, I don't have enough information before I take a step. So all of these are tricky sides of the mind that will take you away from taking the risk or the change or making the change, because as you said, is we haven't learned enough, I think, in our society to coexist with unpleasant feelings. And because we haven't, and you know, children are raised like we try to take away anything that can make them feel bad or think they're not the best or whatever. But by doing that, somehow there's no learning about coexisting with unpleasant feelings, like being said no, like you didn't do well on this and you need to improve or whatever. You know, as adult, I can see, even as a trainer, the effect of that. So somehow, even for ourselves, we tend to want to take action when it's pleasant. If it's not pleasant, we will avoid. So coexisting with the thing is, what's powerful about that aspect of Japanese psychology is that you don't have to change anything. You just have to do it with the unpleasant feeling. You just have to do it. That's the way I walk in the Grand Canyon with the fear of heights for 2.5 hours. I just took one step at a time with the unpleasant, with the fear, and my purpose was to make this memorable, and I did. So the thing is to develop that habit of, and I think Simra touched on that, on going from purpose. My purpose is what, and then accepting the feeling, and then doing what needs doing. And then you get somewhere. So if you haven't addressed your income tax for 2 years, and you having a fear of whatever, of doing it or guilt, you know, you just start getting the paper out and you start filling the first sheet. You know, it's the same thing. You just do a little step into, and quite often you say, okay, I'll just study for half an hour. And once you're in it, you go for hours after. So just like breaking down the big thing into smaller things and taking action. So that's all I wanted to say. I guess it's learning to master our life and not just being dragged by our emotions or changes. And the thing, what's interesting is once you take action, even if you don't feel it, the feeling eventually will change just because you're taking action. And if it doesn't change, at least at the end of the day, you feel like you've done something that is of value somehow, even if you don't feel the greatest.
Yeah, and it's creating momentum. When you do one thing, it starts a momentum. It starts a chain reaction.
Yes.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
The
other thing I wanted to add to that is not just pushing away the doubt or the fear or the uncomfortableness, but talking to it, communicating with it, right? Asking it, you're here for a reason. There's a reason I created, you know, this response to the uncomfortable action. So what are you doing and what are you trying to teach me? Why are you here? Because everything has a purpose in its existence in our life. So if it's a fear, that fear is there to teach us something, right? Just like the Ninja Warrior said, I'm going to learn something from everything that happens from this moment on. It's going to help me. It's going to teach me. And therefore, I need to pay attention to it. And I need to ask it, what is it you're trying to teach me, right? So this is important. When we find ourselves feeling uncomfortable, when we find ourselves feeling embarrassed or scared or procrastinating or whatever, rather than try to hide it or try to slay it, right? Stop and have a conversation with it, right? What is it you're trying to teach me? And what would I learn? How would I grow if I were to work with overcoming it and moving through it, right? What could I learn? How much better could my life be? How much better could I serve the world if I learn what you're trying to teach me and I absorb it and I change and I act? What could I learn and how much better could I serve? Having those conversations rather than just avoiding it. I have people in my world where they will do everything possible to avoid and give blame to everything and everybody else, right? Rather than stop and look at, hey, let me look at what I'm doing and saying and thinking, and let me ask myself honestly, why am I doing that? Or why am I afraid of that? Or why am I judging this, right? Why am I reacting this way? Listen, communicate with it, learn from it. It's there for a reason. And when we have those conversations, we cannot help but grow and learn something. Janine.
I was so moved by your story about that message from a friend's husband about the sacredness. And one of the things that jumped out at me was the space between the notes is also where our relationship with our audience is. It's the giving, we're giving the love, but somebody has to receive it. It's not just to go out into a vacuum. And that's really helped me to change an attitude about social media, because it's just the way now. Instead of walking down Main Street to go shopping and talking to the shopkeepers, we're now out there potentially talking to anybody in the world. So it is that space, which is the, you talked about collaboration. That's the collaboration and us doing it. The other thing I wanted to mention, that there's a spiritual principle as well as an acting principle, which is as if.
Yes.
Whereas if we go in and we act as if we are on top of it, we don't have the fear. In acting, it's, you can, if you're going to be depressed, you take the physical posture. If you're going to be depressed, if you're going to want to be masterful, you take the masterful posture. That was it. But thank you so much. That space thing just went boo in my head.
And thank you so much for putting light on the as if, because that is so, so important. In just about every talk I give and every mastermind we do, I try to keep stressing that our past, our present, and our future exist simultaneously in a vibratory continuum. And if we put attention on the future we want to have, and we go in there strong enough, deep enough, and present enough in the future, and we visualize and see and feel and know, that which we are attempting to achieve, and see it and walk in it, stand in it, absorb in it. When we bring that back into the present, it changes the entire energy field of our life. It changes literally our genetic structure. It certainly changes our cellular structure and our neurological structure and our emotional structure. Just that simple going in and living so deeply inside of a future goal and seeing it and knowing that you are there. I have already done this. I am already this. And we bring that back with full belief and full surety. It changes everything around us and eventually everything in us. And we become that which we are so sure of being in the future. It's not necessarily going to be easy. It might not happen instantaneously, but you've started a chain reaction that will immediately begin to create effect. And this is important for us to realize. Every thought, every word, every deed, every feeling, every action we do, no matter how small or simple or great and all encompassing, mass effect, no matter what it is, it creates a ripple and an effect out into the universe. And it changes reality. It changes your reality, and eventually it might change other people's reality. And hopefully for the better, right? We're striving to make positive contributions to the world. So that's what I was trying to get to with this whole thing today. It wasn't, really all about social media. What it's about is my attitude towards it, my desire to want to serve through it and with it. And I will make the attempts, and I will work with the people I need to work to not only get better at it and overcome this, uncomfortableness with it, but I want to up my game. I want my content to be useful and to be something that has served someone and changes their day and gives them tools to live a better life. That's what I want. And that's why I do what I do. When I created the MikeDeLucaCoach.com website, it's filled with all of this stuff, right? It's filled with all kinds of interviews with people talking about all of this stuff from my heart, right? I created GoMasteryJournal.com, and it was a way for me to give tools for people to go within and not only get inspired at the beginning of their day and work with creating that future here in the present, and organizing their thoughts and their actions and organizing their lives and learning to take charge of what they do and what they don't do. That's why I created that, to serve. And the posts that I do about it are to help people understand this is a tool that can help you. It's helped dozens and dozens of people. And the principles in there have been practiced by millions of people. So GoMasteryJournal.com. Give it a look.
Right.
For those of you who've already been through the program, I've added probably over a dozen hours of new video from a class that I'm teaching right now, the newest class that I'm putting through the Go Mastery Journaling system. I'm recording those classes and I'm putting them inside the student portal. Everyone who buys a Go Mastery Journaling system has access to the student portal that has all of the instructional videos, and also they get a coaching session with me included. So I hope you'll check that out, GoMasteryJournal.com. You'll be seeing posts on my Facebook about that as well. So we do have time for another comment or a question. Any questions?
Yes,
Yes.
Mike,
Anna.
this is Anne. This is Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Yes. Mike, you have done so much for me through this whole process. But for tonight's thing, what came to my mind is on the tree at my backyard, there's a bird's nest. I did not know it. I cut out actually a branch of that tree. It's a small tree, it's not a big one. And then as I was cutting it out, I beheld the bird's nest. I thought, wait a minute. So I stopped because I was going to cut the two of them out. I left that one on. So yesterday I was sitting there watching and I said, okay, what is the message here? I'm watching this bird. He goes or she goes, brings food or whatever she's bringing. I don't know whether there's egg in there or little baby's nestlings. But what I noticed was the frequency. Whenever she came in, I took my camera to get a video. She flies out. And a few minutes later, as if to say, she comes to check to see if the little ones she has there are still there, are they okay, did I do anything to them? And then she goes back out again. And I'm sitting there, I watched this thing for over half an hour. And I thought, what is the message there for me? Because I have this special relationship with birds. in terms of my writing or what I have to do. And I realized it just dawned on me as you spoke about things one is supposed to do and the excuses and then the real reason and then the way to confront it and change the attitude. And I realized that how could I be like this bird? I really wish to be like this bird who checks on the project she has at hand frequently, monitors it, makes sure everything is going well, and comes back. If it sees a sign of danger, it will go away and then it comes back. So I'm thinking, yes, I need to learn a lesson from here because I have been in situations, or I am in one right now or two, where I'm making excuses, Mike. I am making excuses in terms of focusing on things that I'm supposed to focus and finish, and they're almost at the finishing line. I'm at a point where an artist is doing some sketches for my cat. And I'm saying I could learn a big lesson from this. And every single thing that comes, every one of those uncomfortableness, I need to talk to. And from there, I'll move forward. So that's what I want to share because I think the lesson of life is ongoing in every single thing we do and every encounter we make. And I want to thank you and thank all the other people that shared, especially Janine and Samarie, that shared a lot of wisdom in their stories.
Great. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
So welcome. Well, we're coming to that point, the end of our session for tonight. Very grateful that you all joined tonight, the folks here on Zoom, everyone out there on Facebook Live. Everyone will be joining later on by watching it on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, your love. Thank you for your desire to keep taking a step forward every day in your life, in your ability to live the life that you dream of, and your ability to bring that light that is inside of you into the world to chase away a little more darkness every day. Your light is definitely needed and appreciated. So love you all, grateful for you all. Thank you so much for being here and look forward to having you join us the next time we go live with our Goal Achievement Mastery Mastermind. Hope to see you again real soon. Take good care of yourself. Have a great evening. Have a great week. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you.